What up? Homeless Jabroni, the Jabroni God, here today to do another Jabroni one-shot, and today I'm giving you my thoughts on the current Avengers lineup. Well, not current, the soon-to-be lineup for the next Avengers book that is going when Marvel does their line-wide relaunch and have a whole bunch of new number ones. And here to also chime in with his thoughts, you guys may not have, I don't think I've posted anything with this individual on my YouTube channel. He's shaking his head no. So let me introduce him. He is the Weird Weirdo. I'm gonna link all his shit. You better fucking subscribe. But yeah, say something, Weird Weirdo.
Hi.
He said something. Okay, so right off the bat, we're gonna list all the Avengers off, and as I list off the Avengers, I will give my thoughts as I list. So first member that I immediately see, that's all the way in the center back, because it's a single page and it's like a preview book that I'm holding. So the first Avenger I see is
come and take him into our domain.
Now it's up to Stephen Strange to take the place of the Earth's last sorcerer.
Have I become the sorcerer?
You should learn whose powers to respect.
Come along for a fantastic adventure into the fourth dimension with Doctor Strange.
Now, this is a pretty interesting addition. The Avengers are gonna, the implication is the Avengers are gonna get into some weird, wacky, mystical shit. Jason Aaron has handled Doctor Strange before, which makes me very confident. Jason Aaron is a very capable writer. So, Doc Strange, I think he's a good, he's been an Avenger before as well. He's been a new Avenger.
The Illuminati.
And he's been in the Illuminati. He's been in the Bendis run, and he's been in the Jonathan Hickman run. So, that's how I feel about Strange. What about you, Weird Weirdo?
I think it's just strange. Because
I get it.
You gotta work with me on this.
It don't make me laugh, but I get it.
All right, you know you guys take the fun out of living.
because he's kind of weaker than he was before, typically
Right.
in terms of magic. So it's kind of a different edition, I guess, basically at this time in his life.
Right.
You know, because we got his solo book coming out, and apparently he's going to space.
Yes.
So I don't know how I feel about that, because it's written by Mark Waid. And Mark Waid is a capable writer, of course.
His track record in the last few years.
Because before he's like a legendary writer, but like the last few years, I'm not too sure. So Mark Waid on the cover, it can be either really good or it can be really bad. Is the whole thing. And taking Doctor Strange from Earth and basically saying there's less magic on Earth, and he has to go to space in order to find a new source of magic. It's something that hasn't really been done before, but
which
I'm not
is
really
interesting.
Sure.
But like Doctor Strange in space though.
But
like,
otherwise, in terms of Avengers, I mean, if Jason Aaron's, you know how these books sometimes go.
Yeah.
If Jason Aaron basically says, yeah, I'm just going to ignore that, and I'm going to have Doctor Strange do his own thing with the Avengers, then, I mean, he's not a bad addition.
Yeah, he's not a bad addition.
Because he's
at
been
all.
shown that he can play with others, and he's grown a lot.
Yes.
In the last few runs.
Yes.
He's grown a lot.
So the next character to Strange's immediate right, which I don't know why this character's on the team. It's
I'm feeling good. Feels like somebody's lighting my fire.
the recent She-Hulk, which has gotten a big buff. She's a lot more brawlic than she used to be. I don't know. I haven't been reading the She-Hulk book because honestly, it looks like SJW trash. And you know, so I haven't been picking it up, but it's a weird addition to me. Okay, in the Amadeus Cho book, I know he's going through that whole World War Hulk Part 2 thing. So maybe that was the reason why, or maybe since Cho is being probably phased out and they're bringing Banner back for his Incredible Hulk horror series, like whatever. But and nobody likes the new Red Hulk, and Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, he used to be an Avenger, but now he's in a fucking jail cell, so this is the Hulk we're stuck with.
I mean, I know why. I know exactly why. It's called filler. They needed to fill a spot, and she's been on pretty much every Avengers team ever at one point or another, except maybe New Avengers.
Right.
I'm not. Ben. I don't think Bendis included her, but she's been on pretty much every Avengers. So yeah, why wouldn't she be there? That's the entire thing. Why wouldn't she be there?
If I had to choose another female character, I would easily choose like somebody like Scarlet Witch. She's always a fun character because in some runs she is in her right mind, like Uncanny Avengers, and some runs she obviously isn't, House of M.
Yeah.
So she's always a fun character. She's incredibly powerful. If you haven't read any Scarlet Witch books, like I said, check out House of M and Uncanny Avengers. Both are really good. Another good female character, probably Mockingbird is always really good.
Well, in the last few times.
In the last few years, because she's a feminist now.
It's been kind of weird.
Yeah, it's been weird.
And she had her whole relationship with Peter Parker. I don't know if they're gonna sweep that under the rug with Fresh Start, coming up.
Fresh Start indeed.
Yeah.
Another good Avenger, female choice Avenger, I would probably choose is either Silk or Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman fits perfectly.
Yeah, because she's been a new Avenger.
Yeah.
Silk, she hasn't been an Avenger at all, but I would love to see Silk get utilized more. She's just a great character, honestly. She's just really compelling.
If I could choose one, it'd probably be Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Okay, that's a really good addition, honestly.
Because she's just as good as Hawkeye, basically. She's just not as experienced.
Right.
And I think she would really grow from being on the Avengers, because she's only really been on the Young Avengers, but that's never really been an official team.
Right.
And basically Clint has always been like shaping her up to actually be like, you can join the Avengers when you're ready.
Right.
Like he gave her his bow at one point and said, you can use my name. That's the ultimate sign of respect. So I think that she would be ready to actually come onto the Avengers, even if she's like in the junior role, like she's seen as the kid of the team.
Right.
And then she grows and gets respect. That'd be nice.
These next three dudes, I'm gonna lump them together because they're the Trinity. And that's Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. And it's pretty interesting because Thor is front center. So I don't know if Jason Aaron is shaping up for Thor to be in the leadership role, which I have no problem with.
Sure.
And on top of that, Jason Aaron, if you know anything about Jason Aaron and Thor, they go way back.
Oh yes.
And he's written probably one of the best comic book series that I've ever read, period, and that's Thor God of Thunder. So it's drawn by the marvelous Asad Ribic. That combination is literal god tier, no pun intended. If you haven't read that series, what the fuck are you doing listening to this? Go read that shit, and I mean it. It's beautiful. It is what we were put here to do, enjoy art. Read that shit. It's amazing. Cap, Iron Man, Thor, I'm glad they're all back together again. Yeah. It's been some time. I think literally the entirety of the all new, all different Avengers run. Yeah. That's how long it's been.
He's been in a coma.
Yes.
Stark for a
while. Cap was replaced by Sam Wilson, and he was Hydra Cap. Secret Empire was probably the best thing to come of that. Yeah. But I'm just glad the three of them are. I'm glad the band's back together again.
Yeah.
And it seems that Thor is gonna retain the golden Uru arm and hammer after the whole death of Jane Foster thing.
It's gonna be kind of interesting to see exactly how that goes.
Right.
It'll be very interesting because we saw that from all the way from issue 700.
Yes.
And we were hyped for that.
Yes.
So I'm trying to see exactly, because obviously we're gonna see like next month or the month after how exactly he gets that. Right. Why he doesn't have the old hammer. Because or unless this is the old hammer, but plated in like golden Uru. I don't know. Iron Man, he's Tony Stark.
Right.
Captain America, he's Captain America. After everything, so I enjoy seeing them together.
The only difference with Iron Man is he like his body, because he's been biologically engineering his body. Because he put himself into a coma after Civil War II because he's been fucking around with his body. So it's gonna be weird when he comes back. Because at the end of Bendis' run, it's teased that Tony Stark will never be the same. You know how they always say that.
Yeah,
but
until 2 more reboots.
You know, but like I'm curious because the only reason I'm even entertaining that bullshit is because there's legitimate reason to believe that he will never be the same.
Cool. He's being written by Dan Slott now.
Exactly. We have T'Challa. Now, this is an interesting addition, cause he's been an Avenger for a long time.
Yeah.
The reason why I say it's interesting now is because it's not off the heels, but the last time we seen him in an Avenger role was Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers.
Yeah.
And he wasn't so nice. He wasn't so Mr. Nice Cat in that series.
No, I love him.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, like when Wakanda's on the line, he won't hesitate to put a universe on its fucking back and destroy it. Namor, he's frenemies with. He's not above, like, even though he says he's cool with Namor and may even more than respect him, actually like him, he still will kill him. He'll like, I'll kill that nigga if I have to.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, so T'Challa, it's a pretty standard Avengers edition. Pretty standard. Yeah. It's okay.
Every Avengers run needs the power of the Black Panther.
Stop. Whatchamacallit?
Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, aka my favorite new Avenger. She was an Air Force pilot transformed into a practically invulnerable cosmic Avenger.
Carol Danvers, which she's an Avenger vet. Like as far as Avengers goes, she goes way back. She's not a founding member.
No,
but she goes way fucking back.
In terms of comic publication time, like at least a decade.
Yeah, she goes way
back
fucking
from
back.
Miss Marvel.
Yeah, she's gone through like 3 identities or superhero monikers.
About.
You know, so she goes way back. I have no problem with her addition. I've always liked Carol. I can't read her in a solo book because I just don't find it interesting.
It just depends on the writer.
Yeah,
they kind of go more on the progressive route. And
yeah.
No. I'm just more interested in how Tony Stark and her are actually going to go, like how they're actually going to interact after Civil War 2, because they haven't seen each other. After she nearly
bludgeoned him to death.
Yeah, she blew a hole through him.
Yeah,
and I'm interested in seeing how they interact after that, because they haven't seen each other since then.
Right.
Because she's dealing with Secret Empire, and Tony was in a coma for that.
Right.
I mean, he was an AI, but that doesn't really count.
Right.
Too much, because it's just an AI.
And the final thing, and the thing that pisses me off, probably the thing that I have, the character that I have the most to say about out of all of these is no, please, no. Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider. So, major spoilers coming at you for Marvel One-Shot, the Marvel Legacy One-Shot. If you haven't read that and you want to read it or whatever the fuck, you know, stop right here and come back, I guess, if you really want to. But honestly, it's a one-shot. Like, who knows how they're going to sell that or package that. So, don't be a pussy. Listen, nigga. So, in this one-shot, Robbie Reyes, not even, let's backtrack even further. In this one-shot, we see prehistoric Avengers. We see, I don't want to say the first Avengers, because it probably was, because they keep trying to hammer that in, no pun intended with Thor, but they keep trying to do that, and it's like, there was even further back than that. And how old are these guys? Celestial old, right? We got Odin leading the team, which is why I say Thor might be in a leadership role here. We got Odin leading the team for prehistoric Avengers. There's a Black Panther. There's an Iron Fist. There's the Phoenix. We don't know if it's a host or if it's the Phoenix Force itself. It's not really elaborated on. It will be in this series, we are told. Who else? We see, and thank you. We see a Ghost Rider, which is what I'm gonna get to now. This is the reason why I'm bringing this up. So, flash forward to present day in the issue. Robbie Reyes, his powers have been in a state of flux. That the car that he drives is also tied to his powers. So as he was sleeping, he woke up in I think he woke up in Africa or some shit. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Starbrand, who is a character from Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run, essentially all he is a universal, a planetary defense mechanism. He literally defends planet Earth from, you know, space threats, pretty much. That's his whole design and function, put in place by space niggas. Put it that way. That's the best way to understand that. So, the reason why Starbrand shows up to Robbie Reyes is because he was also, or there was a Starbrand on that prehistoric Avengers team. For some reason or another, he doesn't want Robbie Reyes to stumble upon this buried Celestial. Robbie Reyes' powers is unconsciously taking him closer and closer to the Celestial. Starbrand doesn't want him to go, so they scrap. Now, Starbrand, if you go by what was shown previously for both of them, like, Starbrand should easily dust this kid. But somehow, some way, Robbie Reyes develops the penance stare.
Do you dare face the agony of those you have slain?
Mortal or demon, whichever you be gone. What? Galactus has no time for games.
This is no game.
No!
Feel the torment of a billion extinguished souls. Experience the pain
I see flashes
of eternal guilt.
Deep-rooted images, her tentacles, to strangulated every rational nerve. Oh, I'm living in that age!
And he uses that to kill Starbrand. I am heavily upset at that because Robbie Reyes is not a traditional Ghost Rider in the sense, because the way you become a Ghost Rider is through Mephisto. He became a Ghost Rider by like, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was this Russian mobster satanic serial killer who possessed Robbie Reyes, and through him through possessing him, that's how he gained all these fantastical powers. But he, like, that's why he was like, why does he look weird if he's a Ghost Rider? You know, he's not. That's because he's not a Ghost Rider. He just has satanic attributes, and he can use the Hellfire due to Dimitri, whatever the fuck is the name of the serial killer that's possessing him. The struggle, which I find interesting about Robbie Reyes' character, is that the way it works is that he lets the satanic serial killer have his fun in, like, punishing and killing people, but he sort of reins him in, because if he doesn't rein him in, he'll completely take over, and he has a brother in a wheelchair to look after, and that's a whole thing. So he's like, yo, I can't let this guy just do what he wants. So that's his whole struggle. So the reason why I'm so upset at the penance stare thing is because that's not how Robbie Reyes' powers work. And what the message that's sending is, oh, he needs to be like a universal constant. Like, the universe will scale him up for no reason, just because the story needs him to be scaled up to Starbrand's level, so he can use the only MacGuffin technique he can to fucking beat Starbrand. And that's why I have a problem with him being on this team, because there has never been a Ghost Rider on the Avengers. There has never. This is the only. All of a sudden, there's an ancient Avengers with a Ghost Rider on it.
Midnight Suns. Oh yes, there's always a Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Yes. But now it's like, oh yeah, and now Robbie Reyes is some, like, he's Avenger level now, and I'm just like, really? And you know, the only reason he's on the Avengers in this run is literally because Jason Aaron wrote it so that he could be. And I'm just like, I don't like that. I don't like that. First of all, in terms of, like, mysticism and magical shit, we already got a dude for that. We got Strange. Why do we need Robbie Reyes? What function does he serve? Every one of these niggas serve a function. We have the Trinity, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. We got T'Challa, the nigga. He's basically Tony Stark, but willing to do what he won't. We have Powerhouse, Carol Danvers. Also, she's military. What was
Air Force?
Air Force. There we go. And we have She-Hulk, also really brawling, just more muscle.
Yeah.
And we have Doc Strange, who's mystical nigga. So what do we need Robbie Reyes for?
Diversity.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. And this is the problem, man. It's like, it's not that I don't like Robbie Reyes. I fucking love him. But pushing him in this way has just been really bad. The last series he had with Felipe Smith, they forced all these characters.
It wasn't his series.
It wasn't his series. You know, all the stuff that showcased just him was amazing. It was awesome. But then you got Amadeus Cho in the book.
X-23.
You got X-23. You got Agent Coulson. You got Silk. I'm like, yo, why are all these people in this book in the first volume?
I wouldn't mind Agent Coulson. Out of all of them, I wouldn't really mind Agent Coulson.
Yeah, because it's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Or maybe X-23. That's the only two that I don't mind. Because she's kind of freakish herself.
And on top of that, she did show up in that Circle of Four storyline.
That's the only other one. But everybody else now.
Yeah. So I'm just really upset at this. So as far as Avengers lineups go, this is a pretty standard. It's a small team, honestly, compared to Jonathan Hickman's.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, that had a plan. I'm pretty sure it'll expand over the series time.
Right.
The only thing for me is I'm not really sure why, as you say, he's there, because we've had a ghostwriter on the Fantastic Four, the Frightful Four, so he's been up there with teams. But the Avengers, though, is it because he's probably the most stable out of all of them? Because the fact that his powers don't work the exact same way,
right?
Is because Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch weren't exactly the most stable of individuals, so that possibly might be why they were never offered Avengers membership. Whereas Robbie Reyes is just like, I actually have things I care about. I have people that I gotta protect, so I can't go crazy.
He's a functioning member of society. He has a job. He goes to school.
But that penance stare thing, because if they had explained it, okay, so Mephisto can sense what is coming. That's a bullshit way, because Mephisto doesn't really care. But
honestly, that would have worked. Yeah. I would have. That's like if they had showed just like a page. It's like, oh, he's a ghostwriter with all right, he's a human that's possessed by this dude who's been practicing satanic magic. Since I'm literally a denizen of hell, I rule over hell, I'm gonna give him the penance stare in good faith. I mean, I expect something back in return because I'm Mephisto, but I'm gonna give it to him in good faith.
Maybe it had been like, okay, a contract for had it been, okay, you're losing, so if you do this for me, I'll give you the penance stare. Because if it was any other way, if it was like, okay, the final host is coming, why does Mephisto care? Mephisto is in hell. He literally has no stake in the earth. He's trying to take it over himself. And it's just like, oh, the final host is coming, so I'm going to give you these powers in order to actually stop what is coming. But the contract thing would have been better.
That would have been way better.
Exposition, unless they're going to do it in this Avengers series, which
I hope they do, bro.
Because it hadn't been because was he even wondering about the powers?
He just did it.
Yeah, because he's like, okay.
He was just getting his ass handed to him, and he was like, yeah, penance stare.
I can't remember exactly, because I know he beat Starbrand.
Yes.
And that was, yeah. But in terms of afterwards, he wasn't really that curious about, I did that.
Yeah.
It was just, penance stare. Oh, okay, I beat him. So what's next?
So I'm looking forward to this Avengers run. Out of all of the new number ones, this is probably the only one that I will pick up because I'm very pissed off. Sidebar, but this will be the last topic before the video ends. Sidebar, I do not like that Marvel is doing another relaunch. All this will do is alienate fans and loyal fans and try to bring in new people, but they keep pulling the same bullshit honestly every 6 months. So those new people that they attract, it's not even gonna mean shit.
Yeah.
Because they don't hold to any promises.
It's a little too crazy for new comic book fans to come in. Because we've been through the ringer for years. So since we haven't stopped buying yet, we're not gonna stop buying now overall.
Right.
But in terms of just new number ones, because these are supposed to be number one, but then they're supposed to be dual numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not really too happy about that in terms of where do you categorize them. But in terms of just new number ones, the only one that looks promising, it might be Venom with Donny Cates. With
some ancient enemy. I was laughing as I was reading it because the first thing I thought of is like, oh, the thousand year Blood War arc. That's what I was thinking of, because it was like some ancient enemy from like 100 years ago.
We're not that lucky. Also Black Panther maybe, because Daniel Acuna is drawing it, and his art is gorgeous.
Fantastic. He was on Rage of Ultron, right? Yeah. And Uncanny Avengers.
And Rage of Ultron is some of the most beautiful art I've ever seen in my life. So if you haven't read that, definitely also
check
read
that
that
out.
shit.
Check that out.
But those are probably the only other ones, except maybe Thor. Because I want to see, new. Like, I just got back Thor Odin's son as actual Thor with the hammer, and I want to see that.
Yeah, there's very few books I'm gonna I'm gonna stick with Thor. I'm gonna stick with Moon Knight and Avengers.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight. Well, Moon Knight's getting really relaunched, so that's good. Like the only one that I'm really on the fence about is Spider-Man. Because Nick Spencer,
I love Nick Spencer. I really do. He is hilarious. The man is hilarious. If you haven't read his Superior Foes of Spider-Man, check that shit out. They're putting out an Astonishing Ant-Man collection.
Yeah.
Check that shit out. I was crying the first time I read it. The nigga's hilarious. He started taking up more serious stories with the Captain America book, which he proves that he can do serious. I don't want to see him write Spider-Man.
Pretty much, because it's not even that. It's just more so, yeah, what are we gonna do with this character now?
Because it just feels like we're going backward.
Yeah.
Because all right, we have Dan Slott doing the whole Red Goblin thing in issue 800. And then you're already showing me that Spider-Man is going to be okay past it. So it's just like, bro, what's going on with this?
We're just going to go back. Basically, what he was saying is we're going to go back to the neighborhood portion of Spider-Man. And I think that's what every writer pretty much does. Like, at least with Slott, he went Superior Spider-Man, which is fucking amazing.
He went above and beyond. Peter Parker owned his own company, but he didn't mature because he ran the company like shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that, with Marvel Legacy, it's like, oh, we're making Peter Parker a loser again. It's like, why do you think I want to see this person suffer? I like Peter Parker.
Like, I want to see Spider-Man suffer, of course, but I want him to suffer in a way where, he learns from it.
Yeah.
He didn't really learn from it. It's the same sold lesson. Just sacrifice what you have in order to save people. And then you can't really, because you're not saving anybody by not being able to actually afford web cartridges.
Yeah,
you're not saving anybody.
I just don't like it. Like, he can't even afford to take the train. He stuck himself to the ceiling of a train to get to work. He
can't even do web cartridges.
I'm like, yo, this is not fun to read.
No.
I just feel sad. Like, this is like if I want to feel sad while reading a shitbag character, I'll read Hellblazer.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's pleasurable.
Yeah, I don't go to Peter Parker for that. I don't go to Amazing Spider-Man for that.
And all of a sudden, after that, because we basically have Nick Spencer telling us, yeah, he's gonna go back to the friendly neighborhood portion of that. And I'm a little surprised that Spider-Man isn't even on this Avengers team.
Yeah, I was saying that initially.
I'm a little surprised because with that, he's not on the Avengers. He's not back with Mary Jane. Which. A lot of people are kind of like yay or nay, but there's really no progression.
Yeah,
because under Slott, under like the whole Brand New Day thing.
Yo, Dan Slott. Like, before I end this video, I'm just gonna take the time to acknowledge what he did with the character in the last 10 years. This nigga has taken Spider-Man to literally where no other writer has taken him before. We have Spider-Verse, we have Spider Island. We have the whole Agent Venom thing that started up in Slott's run and then spun out into his own book. We have Anti-Venom. We have fucking the Wraith, that cop. I really like that character. We have Jameson's wife dying and him accepting the fact, he's like, yo, Spider-Man, this is like the one time where I don't blame you. And I'm just like, yo, so many pivotal moments, legendary moments that like nobody really even knows about because none of these stories have ever been adapted. All of Spider-Man's classic stories have been adapted, but none of the only one that's been adapted is Spider-Verse and Ultimate Spider-Man.
And then Clone Conspiracy.
I believe they did a version of either Clone Saga or Clone Conspiracy in Ultimate Spider-Man Season 4.
Okay.
With Kane and Ben Reilly. Well, I'm not sure if Ben Reilly shows up, but I know Kane shows up.
I know because the thing that stuck out to me most in that series was Omega, because him helping Rhino get over the death of his wife was really touching to read.
Yo,
extremely touching.
Rhino is a crazy character in Dan Slott's run. Like if you can literally monitor his progression, because before his wife even dies, bro, like he's like a person. There was a second Rhino that showed up in like a mech suit. Rhino fucked them up. We have the Ends of the Earth storyline where he was supposed to die. Where there was a scene where he was in a facility and it was filling up with water, and he was literally pinning down Silver Sable underwater, and he's like, nope, she's not gonna move. If my wife dies, this whole world has to go. And Spider-Man was just like, he was trying to move Rhino off. He's like, nope, nigga, I don't care what you do. I'm not moving. She's dying. I'm dying. We're all fucking dying. And Spider-Man's just like, bro, and that's where Silver Sable's like, yo, dude, it's alright. Just go. Leave me here to die. They both don't end up dying. Silver Sable doesn't die, and Rhino gets cloned. But I believe Rhino survives clone conspiracy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just thank you, Dan Slott, for your 10 years of patronage and contribution to comics, really.
Yeah.
You have really blessed us with great Spider-Man stories, and I look forward to your Red Goblin saga.
And that's, it's shaping up to be amazing, especially with the last issue. I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil.
I get it.
You gotta work with me on this.
It ain't making me laugh, but I get it.
All right, you know you guys take the fun out of living.
It's recent.
So, yeah, guys, what do you think? Leave a comment about this Avengers team. Are you gonna stick with Marvel through their new bullshit? Are you a new fan and looking to get into comics and you're happy that this bullshit happened? Tell us below in the comment section. Thumbs up. I'm gonna link my homie Weird Widow's SoundCloud, and I'm gonna link his YouTube channel. Check him out. His stuff's dope. And yeah, anything you want to say?
Jason Aaron, best story writer ever. Don't quote me on that.
Alrighty. Peace the fuck out, guys. Have a good day.